Happy to welcome in Josh Whitman, Illinois Athletic Director here at Big Ten Media Days. Josh, I know it's always an exciting time with Big Ten football season right around the corner, Illinois football season right around the corner. But 4 new teams, college football playoff expands. We got so much you guys are doing, Division I Council, and so much change coming to college athletics. What is the feeling like right now, leading a college athletic in a Big Ten program right now?
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you look at it as a professional, the chance to be in this role right now, to have the opportunities that I have to contribute to some of the decision-making that's happening and to evaluate some of the opportunities that are in front of us, it's just unlike anything I've ever imagined before. And it doesn't mean I wake up every day and jump out of bed and rush headlong into the fire, but there's certainly an element of just making sure that you embrace the responsibility and see the opportunity for what it is. And 20 years from now, we're going to be talking about this period of years as being one of the most transformative in the history of college sports. And so to have a front row seat and to be in a position to contribute to that process is something that I'm really appreciative of, and I hope that I can do a good job with.
Yeah, the oral histories of this will be really interesting to read.
They will be.
Down the line. Tony Petitti talked today, been the leader of this for now more than a year. What have you learned about the Big Ten commissioner in his time on the job after taking over what was a short tenure for Kevin Warner?
Tony's been tremendous. He's incredibly collaborative. He seeks input. He talks regularly, not just to me, but to all the athletic directors, to a lot of the coaches, to a lot of the administrators, to the presidents. He must be on the phone all day long, every day, and he's a consensus builder. He's a deal maker. He understands how to get a deal done. I think he has the respect of his peers in that commissioner's room. He's built great rapport with our most important partners, first and foremost our television partners, and he sees how to create value, and that's important in this day and age. And so I just couldn't be more impressed with the way he's leaned into this new opportunity that he has, and really grateful to have him at the helm as we navigate through a really important time in our history.
Obviously, the Big Ten seems like it's on really good footing after adding the 4 teams that they have this year. And while other leagues are wondering how they keep it together, what is the impact of adding these 4 teams from the West Coast to the Illinois Athletic Department? How does this impact you guys moving forward, both in a competitive stance and, I guess, competing against other conferences too?
The Big Ten has to continue to stay at the forefront of college athletics. That I think is what we have learned over the last 10 years, is that there is incredible importance in staying at the tip of the spear of college athletics, and there is great value in high quality content. We are continuing to try and embrace that responsibility, or that strategy through the conference office, and so bringing those schools in, 4 incredible brands, 4 incredible histories, great alignment around the educational mission of the institutions, really interesting parts of the country. And what I've said in front of many groups now is that when you come to a place like the University of Illinois, you identify as one of the best in the world at what you do, and you want to compete against the best in the world. And so for the Big Ten to continue to bolster itself in terms of the competitiveness, in terms of the quality of the student athletes who are in our conference, to me it's a no-brainer, and I'm just really proud to be a part of the league now, and excited about the addition of these 4 new schools.
What does this football season mean for the University of Illinois? Obviously, we've talked about Brett has made this program far more competitive. I know some of those losses have stung because of what they could have meant, but what do you see as this season meaning for this program and the trajectory?
I always hesitate to say that any one season means any more than any other season. Illinois football means a lot. Mm-hmm. Every Illinois football season means a lot. It means a lot to our fans. It means a lot to our university. It means a lot to our athletic program. This season's no different. Mm-hmm. It means a lot. And so we're excited to have the chance to go back out there and demonstrate that we've continue to improve. Those improvements are happening across the board throughout our department. They happen on our coaching staff, they happen on our roster, they happen in our operations, our funding. Everything that we do around football is targeted at helping us get better. And so any competitor looks forward to the time when the lights come on and you get a chance to go out there and see if all the work that you put in over the last 9 months has benefited the program in the way that you think it has. And so I just always look forward to the fresh start and the chance to go out and measure yourself against the others in the country and see how you stack up. And that's why you get into this business. Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm more than an administrator. I'm a competitor. Like I love the opportunity to go out and win and lose, and to put yourself out there against other people and see how you stack up. And so this is the time of year we get to do that.
Obviously, you've put a lot behind Brett, and he's led the program to more competitiveness. What gives you confidence that you guys are ready for the next step as a program, and what do you see every day that gives you confidence that they are ready for that?
It's the same things that I've been seeing. I just see the work that we put in. I see the attention to detail. I see the leadership that Coach Bielema provides, the buy-in from our players. There's just a great feeling in our locker room. Guys enjoy being around each other. They enjoy the work and the process that's necessary to help yourself grow. I think every step of the journey, you gain more experience, you gain more perspective. Anytime you can do something for the second time or the third time, you're going to be more successful than you were the first time. And so we've got a group that I think brings a diverse background. We've got now some people who've come from other programs who've had opportunities at other places, have benefited from that, learned from that. Now we're going to be the beneficiaries of their past experiences. And so I just think there's a lot to be excited about. I think about on the public side, our season ticket sales, our public season ticket sales are up over 75% since Brett started with us. Mm-hmm. You know, the support that our fans show this football program is growing quickly, and that I think is reflective of the energy and the competitiveness that we've shown, and hopefully we can take that next step when we kick it off here later in August.
And obviously we know the importance of football, Josh, like of succeeding at football given everything that's ahead of us. We're talking about financials and what the future of that looks like. So, I mean, what do you make of what the fans have kind of given you guys back? Have you felt like they are buying into what Brett is building despite some tough losses?
I do. I really appreciate the atmosphere that we felt in Memorial Stadium, especially these last couple of years. I think that you walk around our football stadium, I don't think there's better tailgating anywhere in the conference, maybe not anywhere in the country, in terms of not only the space that we have, but just the way our fans embrace that part of the game day opportunity. And then you get inside the stadium. I think Cassie Werner and her team have done a great job of continuing to upgrade what happens over the course of a football game. Football game's 3.5 hours. Mm-hmm. A lot that happens when the game's not in play, and I give our staff a lot of credit for making that a better and better environment. And so I'm just so grateful to our fans. Last year, our iFund, our annual fund, surpassed $8 million. Most amount we've raised on that particular account in over 10 years. Our fans are responding, and then of course you carry that across the street to what's going on with basketball, and it just, I think it bodes well and demonstrates the momentum that we're building across the athletic program.
Obviously, there are huge changes coming with the House settlement that you've talked about, and a new $22 million of money you got to give out to student athletes. There's so many questions about that, Josh, but what does that mean for you as the head of an athletic department to figure out how this is all going to work financially?
It's an interesting exercise. And ultimately, again, you get into roles like this one, you like to do hard things. That's what gets you excited every day. If we just go out and do the same things that we've done every other year, then it could grow a little monotonous. It could get a little boring. Certainly there's nothing monotonous about what's happening in college athletics right now. And so for us to be able to lean in and try and roll up our sleeves and figure out how we're going to do this, it is an incredible undertaking for us, and one that our staff has embraced, and we'll continue to try and turn turn over every rock and look at every line item on our budget and see where we can find those dollars. The nice thing is the longer I've done this, the more I've been around business, financial problems almost always have a solution. Mm-hmm. And so for us, if we're trying to find $22 million, we'll go out and find $22 million. When it comes to finances, there are strategies that we can identify if we're willing to think about it long enough and sacrifice enough in certain other areas to make it work. And that's the analysis that we're going through right now.
Does that analysis, I mean, we've talked about it before, but that includes the future of programs, that includes the future of staffing, the future of a lot of things. How soon do you have to have answers to all those questions, and how much of that is all still on the table?
We're, again, looking at every possibility and understanding that the environment's going to be completely different than what we've grown accustomed to over the last 30 years. And from our perspective, we have to put our football program in a position to be competitive. We have to put our men's basketball program in a position to be competitive. We have to, as a Big Ten school, fund to the maximum of the $22 million revenue share. We're going to have to make some investments in additional scholarships to support sports and put them strategically in a stronger position to be successful. All those things come with a price tag, and so it causes us to reevaluate everything that we do as a program and puts us in a position potentially to have to prioritize some things over others. And so I don't have a timeline to your direct question. The analysis continues. We're still gathering information. There are a lot of unanswered questions that would be really informative of how to approach some of these things. We're going to continue to gather information and of course, on the sport sponsorship question, nobody wants to do that. It's not something that we're excited about. And so we want to give ourselves as much time as we can to evaluate other possibilities before we would ever reach the point of needing to do that. And so there's an ongoing process, and we'll continue to gather information and make decisions at the appropriate times.
I'm wondering, you're seeing what's happening across Kirby Avenue with men's basketball and what Brad has built, the excitement he has built. Is there anything you've learned about watching that? I mean, you hired Brad to do something like that, but that's not easy. Is there anything you learned, or Shauna doing what she's doing, which is pretty amazing given the history of that program?
Leadership matters. It just matters a tremendous amount. And so finding those right coaches who just bring a certain competitiveness, a fire, a drive. People are going to push me, and we're going to push our administration. The older I've gotten, the more experienced I've become, the more confident I've become, the more I welcome that. I really appreciate when coaches come to me with ideas, with questions, when they push me to think differently or problem solve with them on areas that have become sticking points for their programs. And so it's all those things together, and I just have such respect for the way that Brad has gone through it, Sean has gone through it. A lot of people now don't like to remember that we had the losingest season in our history in Brad's second year.
That's right.
And so it didn't come overnight. It didn't happen immediately, and to Brad's credit, I think to our program's credit, we stayed the course. We continue to believe in him. We continue to make necessary changes. We push through the adversity, and we've been the beneficiary of that now in the long term. And he is a singularly focused individual, which is a common trait that I think you see amongst the most successful coaches. Brett has it, Shauna has it, Petros Kiprianou has it, Brad Dancer has it, Mike Small has it. There are some coaches have that and some don't, and those who have it, it's not a surprise. They tend to be the most successful.
As we wrap up, Josh, Division I Council Chair for the last several months. What's that job been like? I know it's something you've really embraced, and you really, that opportunity means a lot to you. So what have you learned about trying to corral and gain consensus and all of that in that role so far?
I think it's the NCAA continues to be a really important enterprise, and I know it's become popular here over the last several years to to take shots at the NCAA. The core mission of the NCAA has tremendous virtue, and I'm optimistic and confident in the leadership. I've got tremendous confidence in Charlie Baker. I think he's an exceptional leader. I think that he and Tony and Greg and the other commissioners are collaborating well, understanding that they all have an important role to play in this reformation of college athletics. And so we just, in these hard moments where the system is under stress, we have to continue to come back to what are our core values, what are the things that matter most, what are our non-negotiables. And I think that we'll persevere through this, we'll work through it. The organization, Charlie, has shown a willingness, and I think the membership has expressed an openness to change that is in and of itself notable.
Yep.
This idea that the organization, which is so diverse and so bureaucratic, has an openness to really evolving at a rapid rate that is necessary in this environment is encouraging for me, and I hope can be encouraging for others, because I think there's a place for the NCAA. I think there's a place for the Big Ten. I think conferences like ours and a national organization can coexist. Yeah. But it's going to take a lot of work in order for us to ultimately develop this new system and put people in appropriate positions to lead and influence where the ultimate direction of the industry goes.
Last one I got for you. You obviously an athletic director, division I council chair. You've also been a lawyer. At the core, you're a football player. When you get to practice, first practice for Illinois, like what's that like? What memories does that bring up, and what's that like for you as a former football player and former Illini?
Yeah, it's one of the favorite hats that I get to wear. Is you never take the football player out, and I learned a lot from the game. I've just over the last couple months, for different reasons, I've had occasion to reflect a little bit on my time as a player and what I was able to take from the game, and it taught me an awful lot. It taught me how to lead. It taught me how to work hard. It taught me how to confront adversity, how to be a good teammate, how to listen, how to focus on detail and prepare, how to push myself physically and mentally. I got all that from football, and so every time we go out there to start a new year, a lot of those emotions come flooding back, and there's no game like it. We were talking on the drive over here today, just the opportunity that exists in football for people of all makes and models to come out and contribute meaningfully to the success of a team. There's just nothing quite like the game, and so
that's what I love about sports. The people it brings together for one common goal. I'm so drawn to that. Like Brad's teams have been from everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And football,
increasingly so.
Yeah.
And in football, because just of the number of people you're talking about, 120 student athletes, 50 staff members, they all have their own stories, they all have their backgrounds, but they come around a common purpose, and they work incredibly hard. There's just nothing like football in terms of the work per opportunity is crazy. And you think about baseball or basketball where they're playing 30 or 40 or 50 games, you get 12 opportunities in football. The work per opportunity that is without peer, and the attention to detail, the preparation that goes into each of those 12 chances to play the game is just something that's pretty breathtaking. And so I'm really proud to be a part of it, and I owe a lot to the game. I owe a lot to the university and the opportunity that the university gave me to play the game and to get an education at the same time. And so it's always a meaningful time of year for me, and excited to get started here later this week.
Josh Whitman, thank you.
Thank you.